Hello. Chat, are we there? What's up, everybody? Good to see you, folks. I'm still getting used to this computer stuff. Like I had no experience with computers. Like I know how to work a phone better than I know how to work a computer. Like way better. And I really don't even know how to work a phone that well, to be honest. As a lifelong Broncos fan, I will always root for you, even if you rush for four TDs against every time you play them. You're the voice we need. Oh, thank you. Broncos are always tough to play. They always got a good defense. That was actually one of my better games this year, though. Yeah, so I like wearing sunglasses inside. I don't know if is that weird, but and these are like see-through kind of, so it's just like wear them inside. Who cares? There's rules. You can't wear sunglasses indoors. Why? Who cares? Everyone, if y'all want to like drink a little, be my guest. Indulge what you indulge in. Jeez. Yeah, bummer on the Super Bowl. I did not expect. I don't know if any of y'all watch sports, but the Chiefs got whooped in the Super Bowl, and I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all. Love the shades. Thank you. Today, you hear about the DSA guys talking over the Nevada Democratic Party this weekend. I did not. Tell me more about that if you can. DSA guys, oh, taking over the Nevada Democratic Party. Yeah, I actually did see that. That's crazy. That's so Nevada was okay. So I was in Las Vegas when Bernie Sanders, it was the Nevada caucus, and I was in Vegas that weekend, and it actually randomly ended up happening. It's a little low. Okay, I'll turn it up. Let me know. Let me know if that's better. I turned it up a little bit. I was in Nevada. I was in Nevada when Bernie the Nevada caucus. So I was there. Randomly, I was gonna be in Las Vegas for the first time ever with my friends. This was right before COVID started too. Um, so I was in gonna be in Vegas, and then I was at that time talking to the Chapo Trap House guys because they were organizing a march or not a march, a door knocking for the caucus. So like 2 days before the caucus, we were gonna go door knocking, and so I was gonna be in Vegas, and I talked to the Chapo Trap House guys, and they were gonna be in Vegas for that, and they were also gonna have a show, like a live show, and so like you know, it was crazy. It's almost like lightning struck. I was in Nevada. Randomly, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go door knock for Bernie, and that's like canvassing and talking. Honestly, like talking to people in person. I I sometimes I feel like I have a little bit of like social anxiety, like talking to people. Does anyone else feel that? But I don't know. For some reason, this is cool. Like I really like doing this. That didn't seem to increase the value. Okay, let me work on that a little bit. Let me know if that's better. Like I said, I'm new to this. I got like an audio setup, everything. So yeah, I basically ended up door knocking, which was really fun. And we were in like the boonies of Las Vegas, like the boonies of Las Vegas. Like they didn't have curbs; it was like dirt, like streets. It was wild. And every single person we went and talked to was like either for Bernie, gonna be for Bernie in the caucus, or like apolitical, like didn't even know it was happening. Um, and but there was like no Biden supporters. We were in working class neighborhoods. I went to like a working class neighborhood and like the boonies of Las Vegas, which was like, working class people too. And everyone was for Bernie or wasn't like didn't even know the vote was happening. Like no one was for Biden, no one was for Klobuchar, or like even Liz Warren. Like no one was for Liz Warren, even no one for Biden. It was crazy. I was like, holy shit, Bernie's like he's gonna win this thing. He's gonna become president. Oh, little did I know. Little did I know. So yeah, it was fun. Were you a healthy scratch for the second Raiders game? Two touches the next week. Push back for your political activism and force the vote versus. No, I don't think so. I had some injuries. That was like a numbers thing. I had some injuries, but by the end of the year, I ended up playing really well, which was fun. I'm the worst campaigner on the planet. I tried phone banking. It was a straight disaster. I need to either give money or do office work or something. Yeah, phone banking would be hard. Phone banking would be really hard because like no one likes talking on the phone like that. Like if I don't know the number, I rarely ever answer the phone. I'll just be like they'll they'll leave me a voicemail if it's that important. you know. Thoughts on Vosh? I remember hearing about Vosh like when I was first getting into lefty politics. I feel like I heard about Vosh like when I was learning about the Chapo guys and all that. And he was like debating people on Twitch. I was like, oh, he was like making some really, really good points. And then yeah, recently I don't know what happened with him and like Kyle and like Jimmy. I don't know. The DNC the DNC cheated Bernie. Yeah, of course. That Iowa that Iowa caucus shit is so crazy. Like they literally had an app. They had an app which Pete Buttigieg's campaign with your small dollar campaign donations, he was paying this damn app that was all of a sudden going to change the entire Iowa caucus system, make him go through this app that was also funded by the DNC. Like, and then all of a sudden, Pete Buttigieg announces he won the thing when none of the results had even come out. Literally 0% reporting. He was like announcing victory. And then he did that weird ass thing where he walked out that building and didn't answer a single question. Literally looked like a robot. Like what the crazy. So like yeah, and I feel like we're at a point where it's like that was our like the last straw for us because we saw what happened to Bernie in 2016. We saw the media and we saw the media and everyone attacking Bernie constantly. So it wasn't like the DNC was going to do less to cheat Bernie than they did in 2016. But we still had hope. And like going from like Nevada, this high of Nevada to Super Tuesday and it's like and then you see everything in the media it's like, "Oh, Bernie lost." He didn't do as good. He didn't do as good in the in Super Tuesday as he wanted to, but it was still early. And so, but then all the media was saying after Bernie won the first three contests, and then Super Tuesday happens, Biden does way better than expected. He was winning. He was winning comfortably in states he didn't even have campaign offices in. Like that is nuts. And it didn't matter. Like after that, the media was saying, "Oh, Bernie's done," And then Bernie was done. And then COVID hit and they stopped campaigning. They stopped door knocking, which was Bernie's biggest advantage. He wasn't getting any positive media coverage. It's nuts. But yeah, I mean, we all know what happened with the DNC. And the fact that Bernie didn't fight it harder was frustrating because we knew they were going to do it to him again. That's what the establishment does. Longest run from scrimmage by a charter this year. Yeah. Felt like Balaj was getting your spot in the rotation. I mean, I was hurt. And then KB came in. Everyone was hurt. KB came in. And KB's really good. KB's a good friend of mine. He's also a singer. So go check out his music. Um See, he played well. And then by the end of the year we were both like playing well together. Federal jobs guarantee, $15 minimum wage, healthcare emergency guarantee act, Green New Deal for public housing and debt-free college. What do y'all think? Sounds good. We couldn't even get the minimum wage, man. That's crazy. They talk so much. To me, you can't claim to be the party of the working class, and in your first legislation, you didn't even look like you were fighting. I mean, they weren't fighting. We know that, but you didn't even appear to be fighting for it. What's your most Can't send super chats? I know. Sorry. I'll get that fixed probably for next time. Yeah, Tulsi quit Congress. I really want to know the rationale behind that. I understand, of course, she was getting attacked at all times, but I want to know her reasoning behind why that works better, that helps. Legitimate. I'm genuinely curious about that. Bernie won several times, but Biden's first win was the real one. Yep, that was the narrative. Yeah, super chats are not they're turned off. Essentially, I have to have a certain amount of watch hours before I can receive super chats. So I have to work to that point. Give them a $6 raise directly. UBI and Medicare for all are the way to go. So did y'all see my video about? Did y'all see my video about the American Rescue Plan? Because um, in there in that legislation there was a cap. I mean, it's like a subsidy essentially, but it's of course we're just giving money away to insurance companies. It's just ballooning. It's gonna. I'm predicting it balloons our GDP, like what we spend in healthcare on GDP, because it's capping interest or not interest premium rates at 8.5%. So it's capping that, but it's not getting rid of them. So more people are gonna be able to afford it essentially, but I mean we're just spending more on healthcare. They're gonna be subsidizing Cobra 100%, which is Cobra costs so much money. But in that legislation, they didn't say anything about deductibles. And I've been searching for it. I've been scouring the internet trying to find something on deductibles and I can't find anything. So I'm wondering, did it cap deductibles too? Because I'm just thinking if it caps premium rates at 8.5%, okay, what is that? People still have $10,000 deductibles. You essentially still don't have health care. But I can't find anything on deductibles. So I'm there was nothing in the bill. I was searching the literal bill, and the word deductible didn't come up. So I'm that might be a sketchy way of getting around that because it doesn't help as many people as you think. Because if you have a high deductible, you don't have the money, you know. So if y'all find something on deductibles from the American Rescue Plan, let me know. Let's have Joe Manchin work on $7.25 an hour. They would never even come close to doing that. I legitimately don't think they understand how little money that is, and like trying to just afford things. Like I love when they have those like CNBC budgets, and they have those budgets and you look at like how they dissect, or like budget out like however much a month, right? But they never factor in like random payments that you have to make. Like I have to re-register my cars out here in California. It's like $500 for two cars. $500 like per year. So what if you have a family, you know, the two spouse, the like parents both have cars. Maybe one has two cars, one for work or something. I don't know, a van. Like imagine having to pay for that every single year. Like they never put that in their budgets. Like how do you afford that? All in California, a lot of the streets aren't paved well because they don't spend money on the infrastructure. So you just hitting potholes all the time. So then you got to get a new wheel, $300, $200. Like you can't. It's like you're always living on the brink. It's just crazy that they. It's so frustrating. The child tax credit, the the child tax credit it is better than it used to be. It used to be $2,000 like per kid, but you could only claim up to like 1,400. So if you were gonna get an over $1,400 refund because your taxes were whatever, then it would only be 1,400. It wouldn't be like 2,000. But now it's can be the full check, I think, and you can get it monthly or at the end of the year. So it's like it's a minor improvement, but you know, it's just minor. That's all it is. Like your life will be minorly better. You'll have one less stress around your plate, but it's still incredibly difficult. And that is the Democratic Party. It's just incrementalism. Okay. Right now, minimum wage should be $25. Yep. There are some unsettling issues with the People's Party. Frank analysis has been exposing some of it. I got to look at more of that for sure. And I also have talked to, I think Renee Johnson is her name, and she had complaints about the People's Party. And my take on it is like I support third parties because I think, having that pressure outside or like a lot of third parties win at the local levels and they do a lot of good things at the local levels too. And so I support third parties. And I think MPP, has like wants the right things and wants to push for the right policies. And organizationally, it feels like um, it's early in the game, and you know, it seems like people that were within the organization had some complaints that they brought up. Now, I've heard one person's story from within that group, and I've also heard MPP side. So I don't know. I feel torn because I don't want to like you know devalue what those people are saying, their experience, what happened to them, but I also want to push MPP forward and maybe make it better. Can we bring those two people to the table and hash it out and make it better? I don't think you just want to throw something away that's got some steam to it already. It's already hard enough to organize a third party. $3,000 child tax credit is going to be monthly. No, it's $3,000 over the year. You can split the payments monthly, I believe. If it's three a month, I need children. But oh, that's another thing. Yes, the child tax credit helps, but it's like it helps, but it's not like what if you don't have kids? You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, we're gonna help this small group, then we're gonna help this small group, and then we're gonna help this small group. It's like, why don't you do some universal programs so it helps everyone? and it's like it's also cheaper in the end. It's cheaper than splitting it all up. What do you think of Lee Carter? I like what he says on Twitter. I know he's running for governor and he's a socialist, so I hope he wins. Can you speak on what is our recourse from hashtag fraud squad? These people took our money and lied to our faces. Yeah, I'm super upset with just because I just feel like they're not insurgent enough, you know? It's like, you see Pramila Jai, like that interview with Pramila Jayapal on Marianne Williamson's show did wonders for me because it really outlined to me like what and I think they really look up to her as like a leader, like a progressive leader, because she got in there before the squad. So she went on there and she was just saying like, oh, we talked to Biden and we got more co-sponsors than ever from the hearings and we got a list. I have 3-page long list of all the things that the concessions that Biden gave to us with this public option plan and all these things. And I'm like, okay, well, one, if that was the strategy, then why when we were doing force to vote, didn't they like come out and be explicit about it? You know what I mean? Like I think messaging wise, that was bad on their part. Because if they had that strategy, one, they should have articulated that better, in my opinion. They definitely should have articulated that better, which that wasn't what they said. They said, "Oh, well, we get leverage on the minimum wage, and like get committee assignments, all these things." So that was okay. That's them saying, "Well, instead of your strategy, we're going to do this strategy." That's not what Pramila Jayapal was saying on Marianne Williamson's show. So which one was it? So that was the first thing that was off. And then I'm like, if you have all these commitments, well, one, why don't you come out and say that publicly so we publicly can hold Joe Biden accountable on that? Because if it's not public, then they don't, they're just like, oh, it's just this small group of people talking on Twitter about it, but most people don't even know about it. So we'll just go about our day, That's why they keep taking these pictures of them like walking, like right after the minimum wage died, like Joe Biden put like one of those like fan cam pictures of him like walking. It's crazy. Like they don't even care. So, I mean, I just think they need to be doing more. Like, I doubt they're going to do force the vote on this bill. I doubt it, you know? That's not really what their plan is. Like, Pramila Jayapal outlined that their plan is to, like, work with the Biden people and try and sway them from the inside. And you just saw what happened with the $15 minimum wage. It felt like Bernie didn't have any say on what was going on. Joe Manchin had all the say. Kyrsten Sinema had all the say. And that tweet that came out uh, that said Biden hadn't even pressured the Manchin like camp with the $15 minimum wage. I was like, wow, it's just because he doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. If he wanted, guys, we've seen when Joe Biden wants something, we've seen what he does, what he will do. He'll stand up in front of the Senate and his own party, go against his own party and say, the Democrats, we want 100,000 cops in the street. So like we've seen Joe Biden, and 3 years after the Iraq War, he's defending it. Even after wide consensus went around that it was you know wasn't what the American people were sold, and he was still out there defending it. So when Joe Biden wants something, he'll go out there, he'll go try and get it. That's because he doesn't want the $15 minimum wage. So what makes you and he didn't want Bernie's plan to fund Medicare, expand Medicare. He wanted his Cobra subsidies. So what's telling you in your mind that all these commitments you got in this backdoor thing that you didn't really make public, what makes you think he's going to stick true to that? Just like he didn't with the $15 minimum wage. So you have to change up your game plan if it's not working. Adding more cops doesn't work. I mean, they're exactly what they're gonna do. Okay, so let's see. This is this is exactly what I'm talking about. Who fake Tito Johnson? One of my favorite tweets of the week. I'm so tired of seeing y'all walk, ready to head into a new week and deliver for the American people. Oh man, it's that's what people just hate about the Democrats. Like you can tell they spend all this money on like consultants and everything. Like they know how to make it look presidential. That's exactly what like this is the return to normalcy. Like these things look like presidential in their mind, like in the elite mind, that looks presidential. But when you're like struggling and you haven't got anything from the government 7, 8, 9 months, you don't see this as like you're delivering for me. Did y'all do any of y'all like TikTok? I feel like TikTok is such a like generational thing. Like Gen Z is really on TikTok. I'm like late millennial, so I feel like I'm a little on TikTok. But there was this like trend going around. Any advice on talking to apolitical people as leftists? Just appeal to like their daily life struggles, in my opinion. Just like talk about healthcare, talk about, minimum wage, like the minimum wage. Just things that like directly affect their life. I kind of like TikTok. I know. There's this funny TikTok. There's this funny TikTok trend going around. I want to show y'all. Oh wait. Well, yeah, I'm sure she's a funny TikTok trend too.
I have to show her y'all singing right now. Great is thy faithful. What the freaking fact y'all laughing at? I bet you.
Shit makes me laugh. Okay, let's look at this.
Hey guys, this is my grandma, the one I was talking about.
What do you mean the one you're talking about? What the fuck you laughing at, bitch? I'll punch you right in the fucking face.
Oh my gosh. Y'all, check out TikTok. Someone said there's a lot of leftist content on TikTok. Gen Zers are radical. If they're either like radical, they're either like radical leftists or like super radical conservatives. That's what the Gen Z generation is. They're like either side of the spectrum. I feel like as millennials, we're like, we got affected by our parents. And so, like, Gen Zers are like, go tell their like grandfather, they'll be like, Grandpa, you're a racist. They'll just like say it. I'm like, wow. I'm like, wow. They just said that. I'm like, I would never say that to my grandparent. Like, my grandparent. It's just like, because we knew we just get like, we just get ostracized by our parents, so we just wouldn't say anything. Like Gen Zers don't care. So like we were meant like we align more politically with like Gen Zers, Zoomers, but we're not quite as like outwardly radical. Remember when I was growing up, they'd be like, "Don't post anything on social media, or you will never get a job, and you know you'll be on the streets." In our society, that's a thing, but they don't care. They don't care at all. All right, let's look at that Kyrsten Sinema. Can y'all believe she did this? Like to me, this is crazy. Wow, incredibly grateful for Arizona's frontline workers caring for our loved ones during the pandemic. Look, look at this ratio. 16,000 comments, 2,000 likes. Like, look at that. And then I think someone down here was joking. I hope they're joking. But that's crazy. I can't believe she voted I can't believe she voted the minimum wage down like in that fashion. What was up with her like being cool with McConnell? Like that just reminds me of the it's a big club and you ain't in it. Like they're supposed to be all you see in the media is them trashing each other, throwing stones at each other. But when they get like just down there with each other, they're just like bumping elbows, like voting the minimum wage down, shaking shoulders a little bit. Like what? And then she gets on Twitter and her I don't know, PR person saying that everyone's being sexist, like or misogynist because they're angry at her because she just voted down a minimum wage increase for people that are making $15,000 a year. And that's what they came out and said. Like identity politics for the win right there. A cartoon of cinema is amazing. Get ratioed, son, Cal Kalinske. Well, millennials got screwed by two economic meltdowns. The one we are currently experiencing is the first for Gen Z. Yeah, we did get screwed by two. Well, yeah, like the older millennials and then the younger millennials. Yeah, like 2008, I was still a little. I was young for that because I was only 12, but I was only 12. But I remember like just my parents acting in a certain way that like, oh, we have to save more money and all this type of stuff. And I didn't know much of like what that meant as a kid, but I could tell that something like as I got older, looking back on it, I could tell something was wrong, and that was the financial crash. Things were crazy. Out of every football stadium you've ever played in college or NFL, which one is the loudest? I'd probably say the loudest is Seattle's loud. Seattle's different because it's always loud. Like on every play, it's loud. Usually in loud places, it's just loud on like third down or in like the red zone or something. And then when they're on offense, it's like completely silent. So yeah, Seattle was cool. Like Michigan, the big house, that was crazy. Identity politics, pure theater. Yeah, it's like it's insidious because like you want representation. Representation is good. It's a good thing, like symbolically, and like culturally, I guess. Representation is good. It's good to see someone that looks like you in a high place. But when it's cynically used to like distract away from the fact that you're not even helping those people with your policies, you're actually hurting them. But then it's used as a shield. I mean, that's why it's so insidious. It's not because of how the stadium is shaped. I didn't know that. Wow. Arrowhead, yeah, Arrowhead's loud. Arrowhead's fun. It's fun to play there. That was our last game this year. Tell us your opinion on Kaepernick. Wow. I mean, what he did was brave, I think. Very brave. That's a very tough thing to do. Um, and obviously, you saw the fallout. I mean, everyone. I think it was awesome that he did that. Everyone knows the story. It's old news by now, but It became big because of BLM, but I mean bigger. It was already huge, obviously. Why not fight for ranked choice voting? I think Alaska got it done in 2020. I think we should fight for ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting would fix it all because then third parties would be viable, but that's why they'll never want that. If you don't know what ranked choice voting is, say I'm a third party candidate, you want to vote for me, but you don't want to spoil your vote, like they say. You could put me as your first choice, and if I don't get enough, you know, percentage wise, then it goes, everyone who voted for me first, their ballot would go to their second choice. So say you wanted, the Democrats over the Republicans, then you put the Democrat candidate as your second choice. And in that way, there's no spoiling. But that's why they don't, yeah, that's why that won't pass. I mean, we'll have to fight for it. It's going to take a while, though. They'll put everything, they'll put everything up against it. Both parties will. When are you gonna have some guests on the channel? Yeah, I'm gonna do that soon, probably next week, because I'm just like figuring out like StreamYard and just everything about that, and just like how to have people on, like how to do the tech. Because I'm doing everything by myself, so eventually I'm gonna get people to help me, but right now because I'm small, like I'll just do it myself. And I have the time. It's my off season. What was the question? Oh yeah, having guests on. Yeah, so I'm excited to have people on. Like I really want to have like Brianna Joy Gray on. I think she's great. Like she's just the best. She's just so good at articulating things. And when she interviews people, she says like she gives the most hard hitting questions, frames them in the best way, and also, but it doesn't come off like too aggressive or like where people will like close up. She's just like a really good interviewer. But it's because like in her the way she frames stuff is just always so good. She frames it like when she asks questions to people, she frames it the way it would be framed if there was a real, like a leftist in cable news type thing. Because her questions are framed, she sounds like she's probing you and asking you it, but she frames the discussion in a very like left way. Not just left, but like insurgent left. Like let's be aggressive in our strategy. Let's force the vote. Let's, you know, force Joe Biden to, get to put the $15 minimum wage in the bill. Force it, and that's how she frames it. So when she's like interviewing Rokana and she's asking about, will you support this bill? She frames it in a way as like, oh, well, there's, theoretically, if six of y'all come together and y'all could stop this bill and get the minimum wage back in, what do you think about that type thing? And it's obviously she puts it way better than that, but you guys get what I'm saying. So I definitely want to have Brianna Joy Gray on. Um, I want to get Harlan's Media on because they're getting censored. It's crazy. But they got like a 2 month old video got a strike and they gave a strike to their channel. And so for a week, they can't post anything. They can't post. It's either they can't I think they can't live stream. I don't even know if they can post. So for like a whole week, they lose their income. Join Rockfin. I am. I'm gonna be joining Rockfin. I just gotta set everything up. She's always honest about her questions. Yeah. She's a lawyer, makes for good interviewing. Oh, Cornell West. I'd love to have Cornell West. Love the camera now, solely on you. Thank you, Justin, for joining. Yeah. I tightened the frame of the video. I just wanted to see, like, feel out what the best like video angle. Like this all stuff I didn't even think about that you have to think about when you're doing a show like this. You have to like decide the camera angle, decide, your set, all this stuff. Cocklancy has been stuck at 965,000 subs for weeks now. It's crazy. Yeah, he'll get to a million soon. Kyle's been doing this a long time. He's an OG for me, at least, for like my, I guess, generation as far as lefty media goes. You should get Halper on. Katie Halper is so funny. I love Katie Halper. Going on her show is so chill too. She just makes it. I don't know. I like going on there with Bree and Leslie. Leslie's and Jack. They're all really good. I like going on that show. Whenever Katie asks me to go on, I'm like, yes. Richard Medhurst, Aaron Mate, Ben Norton. Just joining from Connecticut. East Coast. It's kind of cold over there, probably. I'm from Chicago, so I know the cold. I could listen to Cornel West all day. I know. The amount of books that Cornel West brings up when he's talking to someone is crazy to me. Like, he just like thinks of like book names and he knows the author and he knows what's in the book and he'll quote like 20, 30 books. I'm like, this man's brain is crazy. When I watch your videos, I always find myself staring at this trippy light on the wall behind you. Yeah, they're like called nano leaf lights. Are kind of expensive, so like I didn't get a lot. I just got like the basic package, but they're pretty cool. Did you watch Jack debate Ben Burgess on Katie's stream last night? It was epic. No, Jack debate Ben Burgess. What were they debating about? I know. I'm gonna go watch that after this then. West and Barber are our moral and spiritual leaders. For real. Yeah, Reverend Barber, that it's wild. It's wild watching it because my granddad, like, so my mom's dad has his own church. I mean, he's older now. He doesn't preach anymore, but he had his own church. And I remember like listening to the like sermons, and that's exactly how it sounds like. But Reverend Barber's just talking about politics, which is like, you're usually talking about, I don't know, usually talk about more cultural things, I guess. Obviously religious, but like cultural messages in the sermon. But Reverend Barber is like talking about politics, and it's just awesome to hear it in that, given in that manner. Similar to, Dr. King. He was a preacher. And that's why he, sounded like that when he was. That's why they're perfect. That's why he's perfect to be the leader of the Poor People's Campaign. Katie's mom Nora killed it talking about Desert Storm. I have to watch that. Yeah, she had like a stream with her mom talking about the Iraq War or something. I think I saw it on YouTube. I'm gonna go grab some water. I'll be right back. Okay. And left us with this track. Did you guys hear anything? Did y'all hear music? I was trying to put music over that and couldn't figure it out. But maybe I did and I just didn't know. I love the takeover intro. Thank you. That's one of my former teammates from Northwestern. He makes music and he made me that. So shout out Lauren Wong. Lauren Wong on Spotify. LARRENWONG. Check out his music. It was tight. Nice. Okay. Look, I made it better than I even thought. What are some things y'all want me to cover? Throw them in the chat. I'm looking for ideas. This is what Dems do when they have complete control of Gov. How can any lefty in good conscience tell people to keep electing them to do this again in 10 years? I don't know. They're so, they make it like, how do you go and door knock for the Democrats? I mean, like, and talk about, like, people tried to with minimum wage. And that's why, a lot of people, even during a pandemic, came out and voted. And then they don't do it. So how are you supposed to go knock on that person's door again? And tell them what? The same thing that you just told them already? Like, that's what's, I don't know, they're making it real difficult for 2022. And it seems like they're like, they're definitely hyperbolizing how like much this stimulus is going to help people. Like it will help certain people significantly, but because of the means testing, there's going to be a lot of people that aren't not going to be helped significantly. Like imagine if you worked the whole time through COVID and you were working on whatever wage you were working on before COVID. So you were working on like $9-10, like you worked all the way through COVID. You got $1,800 from Trump and then 1,400. $3,200. You know how quick that goes. If you live in a city, rent so that's almost half unless you have a bunch of roommates. I just don't. I think they're definitely hyperbolizing how much this is going to help people. As many people as they're saying it's going to help. Like it will help, some people significantly, but it's because you means tested. It's a smaller group of people than you're patting yourself on the back for helping. If Biden gets Assange on the Espionage Act, press freedom is doomed. Yeah. I can't believe it. Still going after Assange. That's just that's the craziest thing. They're really persecuting that man, like bad. They're torturing him because he exposed U.S. war crimes. WAPO said the stimulus will shower people with money, and that has already cut child poverty in half, apparently. Yeah, I did a video on that. Not that specifically, but on the point that cutting child poverty in half because one, the federal poverty line is $12,000. And the reason they won't increase it is because one, no president wants to increase it and say poverty went up when you were president. So we know that $12,000 is grossly inadequate. Like if you're making minimum wage $7.25, you're earning poverty wages. So I don't know if that, when you say cut it in half, so are you saying half the people are going to now be above the poverty line? Well, that's at $12,000. Like, I don't know exactly how they calculate it, but if it's relative to that poverty line, technically they're out of poverty. But technically, if you earn $15,000 a year, you're not below the federal poverty line. Like, that doesn't make any sense. The bar's so low. Shame to see people call this good because it helps some people, comes nowhere near actually meeting the moment. Also worth knowing that they might not do anything else for 10 months. Yeah. Well, I think they're supposed to be trying to do reconciliation in September with infrastructure. But that's what I heard they're trying to do. But I heard Bernie's trying to get it, start the next reconciliation started right away. But apparently it's supposed to be in September. But if it doesn't, if it takes 2, 3 months again, it might be until, like you were saying, 10 months, December, January. Are left wing Democrats politicians who give the party the illusion of legitimacy while doing nothing just as destructive as the right wing Democrats who do the party's actual dirty work? That's an interesting way to frame that. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not doing enough to oppose the party and you vote with the party, a vote is a vote. It's either yes or no. So, I mean, what you can say you wanted something different, and I can grant you that if there was nothing more you could have done, but if there's more you could have done and you didn't try, you know, it's the same result, it's the same outcome. Support withholding the vote for Democrats, the only leverage progressives have. Yeah, that's all you have. You at least to get at the table, you might not get everything, but you can get more. In a sense of 15, like I saw Sirota was on Bad Faith talking about, if they, say they're not going to vote for it, and then they actually get at the table and they compromise at 11 or 12, I can at least grant you that, it's higher than what they're doing now, which is nothing. Zero is going to be 725. And Bree, of course, was, pushing back in a sense, saying, well, no, we should just hold the line until 15. And that's what I'm saying about the aggressive framing. I'm like, I like that. I like that idea, right? Um, but right now, if you don't do anything, it's like 725. That's what the minimum wage is going to be. Even if you wanted it to be higher, it's going to be 725. Invite Assemblyman Ron Kim. I do want to talk to him because what happened to him with Cuomo was wild, and I want to report on Cuomo more because I know a lot more has come out as far as the sexual harassment. I think it was sexual harassment claims, multiple, and so I want to update that video or update y'all on what's going on with Cuomo. With the Warnock and Ossoff thing, it's funny because they're like, once they passed the plan, they were tweeting like, as we not like I'm paraphrasing, but they're like, as we promised, here's the relief said we were going to give y'all, even though it's not 2000 and it took 3 months instead of, like, imagine being in the crowd hearing them say, we're going to get this out to you next week. And then 3 months later, and then you see them tweet like, you know, you see them tweet like, oh, huge accomplishment, we kept our promise. And they're like, we've been waiting for this for 3 months. Love you, huge, huge fan, LOL. Nikki, you're funny. Love you too, Nikki. That's my cousin. My cousin played basketball at Florida State. She was a beast. Let's see. What's your take about Nina Turner disagreeing with Forced to Vote? Is this a forewarning? I personally was crushed. Yeah, that was the weird because I think at first she disagreed with it, and then she agreed with it when she was on Bad Faith, and then apparently she started to like back away from that more. I gotta look more into that. Personally, was crushed. Yeah, I mean, being crushed by politicians, that's kind of the flavor of the week. Cuomo's a corrupt authoritarian who has shut down every investigation into him. Yeah. I love how he's like not gonna resign, but he's like, I'll grant you giving up all my powers. How long have we been on? An hour? Hour. Okay. We'll stay on for a little bit longer. Next time I come back on, I'll probably do a story and I'll have super chats enabled. Okay, unapologetic. I have to check out your videos then. I have a couple. I have super chats enabled, and I'll probably have a. I'll probably have a story ready to go. Nina's been avoiding Jimmy. Yeah, I don't think any politicians are going to be on Jimmy's show anytime soon. So I was surprised Rokana came on. Credit to Rokana, he does take the questioning. He does take the questioning, but you know he did say he was going to vote for the package, even if it didn't have $15 minimum wage in it. That's why we tagged him on Twitter. We tagged him on Twitter. We tagged some of the House progressives because we want them to know that this is something that we're expecting from them. That's something we're expecting from them. And there's not. I mean, what other time are we gonna? What other time are we gonna have to get this minimum wage? Like, if they don't put it in this reconciliation bill for, you know, because they granted that the Senate parliamentarians' ruling was correct, even though they didn't need to. It was an advisory ruling, but they granted it then in that reconciliation bill. It's not going to pass, as a standalone bill, 60 votes. So what makes you think they're going to put in the next reconciliation bill? So then when are we going to get $15 minimum wage? His answers are BS sometimes, but he takes it. Yeah, exactly. Have you ever played disc golf? I actually have. It is a better package than the Republicans. Low bar. The lowest of low bars. That's what I would say to that. That's just an incredibly low bar. I mean, the Republicans just basically created corporate trust funds. Do you expect the Democrats to do the same thing? No. They're supposed to be the party of the working class. But that means we expect $15 minimum wage in there. So, we do. There's progressive ideas in the House, but in the Senate, uh, it's like, I mean, we did get four. At least there was 42 senators. I mean, at least obviously it should be everyone. But when it comes to like Medicare for all, like who's for it in the Senate? Bernie. One, like, who else? I don't even know who else is for. If y'all know who else is for, like, actually has it on their platform, Medicare for all in the Senate, other than Bernie. Like Liz Warren had her plan, which wasn't Medicare for all. Let's see. Yeah, so next time we come on, super chats will be up, and I'll have a story, and I'll have more funny tweets for y'all. Maybe some more funny TikToks. Appreciate y'all hanging out for a little bit. I'm still getting the hang of this, but we'll keep doing these. I like doing these. I like talking to y'all. Sometimes I think my videos get a little long, so I'm trying to keep them shorter, but it's hard when you try and pack a lot of information in. But with these, I can just talk. Kamala co-sponsored Medicare for All. Don't trust anyone in the Senate to actually fight for it. Yeah, right. She co-sponsored it, and then her plan like wasn't it. They all came out with some like Medicare for all who want it type variation of a plan. All right, y'all. I won't discriminate if you don't do super chats. I mean, I don't think I'll have that many super chats. So I'll mostly be reading the chat anyway. Thank y'all for hanging out.